What's up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? It is Monday
Somewhere between 7 and 8.
somewhere. That's for us to know and for you to possibly never find out.
Yeah. Today was it was very much a technical difficulty type of day.
They don't need to know that. What they need to know is welcome to Making Moguls. It is a Making Mogul hour
Yes.
here on Monday, here on YouTube, where
Yes.
you can either win with us.
Or watch us win.
I'm your host, Vijano, Sir Vijano Alexander, aka King Cosmic, the only Vijano in the world. So if you can't find me, you really ain't looking hard enough.
That's a fact. And it's your favorite dime, the baddest CEO. That's Dime with a Y.
Not an I, baby. All right. And this is the show where creators, dreamers, and entrepreneurs come to level up in real time.
Yes.
We break down the game, build real brands, and turn ambition into strategy, one episode at a time. Our mission is simple: to empower the next wave of moguls with the knowledge, mindset, and resources to win big. Online and in real life. My bad. I got so caught up on the winning big, I lost myself. So just make sure you tap in with us, stay connected, follow the movement across all platforms at Making Moguls,
Absolutely.
the Making Mogul Show, and let's get into it like we always do every Monday with our small wins.
Okay.
So, Dom,
Yes.
what would you consider your small win?
So this week, my small win is it actually it kind of happened, but it didn't happen. Like it didn't happen yet.
Okay, but it was put in motion.
Right. The decision is the small win.
Okay.
Yeah. So I decided to do something for Fashion Week in February.
Hey.
Those of you that know, Celebs in Fashion has not been, we haven't done anything in the last couple of years. I think the last official Celebs in Fashion event was in October of 2019, I think. Oh no, we did one February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. Yeah, so we've had some like smaller events. We've had some big kid events, but we have not actually had another Celebs in Fashion. So we will be hosting a event. I don't want to talk too much on it, but the decision to go forward and do it is a big one for me. And then also just kind of like the whole concept behind it. We are actually launching out our search for sponsors and all types of stuff. So the way this event, once I tell you, you're going to be like, what? We're going to do that? Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah.
You know I'm here for it.
Yeah, I know. You were all my shenanigans.
Oh yeah, you know it.
But yes, that's my small win. What about you?
Okay. Well, I said my small win this week was gonna be last week.
Okay.
Because if anybody did pay attention, we didn't go live last week.
Yeah, facts.
We got to go thanks to the amazing Dime. That's Dime with a Y, not an I.
Okay.
Got to go to a premiere
Yes.
of one of my favorite shows, which is Force, which is part of the Power universe. If anybody knows the show Power with Ghost and Tommy and all the other people, this is a spinoff based on Tommy's character. And I followed the Power and all of its spinoffs basically since it came out, to be honest.
That's dope.
Maybe I got into it season 2 when season 2 was airing, but I've been following
and then you
it.
caught up,
like,
and then
and I've been watching for mad like a decade. I watched Terry grow up and become his own menace in his own right. And so to not only be able to go to a premiere, because I've done a bunch of different things related around Power in the entertainment industry and around like premieres, their like talks and anything a fan could do, I was jumping to do. But to be able to not only do a live premiere of the episode that came out, but also have the panel of the people talking, the actors and one of the writers that was there and was able to hear all their insights, not only into them as an actor, but the mindsets of their character, which I thought was really cool. So now when I watch the show, I'm like, oh yeah, Jannard said that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tommy was like, that's what they thinking of. So be able to get behind the character, because I'm really big into like really understanding characters and their fictional motivations, because then that helps me feel the character being real, like manifesting as like a real person. In a way, not like how the fans just be like, oh, you stupid person, why you did that? But like understand the motivations of the complexities behind the character being created. So that's my small win. That was a real fun, exciting thing, especially a nice way to play hooky on Making Moguls.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about that like on my way here and then completely forgot that was a thing. Like I completely forgot that we did that. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that, you were able to join me in that experience, because I didn't even know like right away that it was going to happen. And then guys, so we were there, and of course I'm like, okay, so are we going to do the show after this? Or mind you, it ended at like 9:00 at night.
9 something.
And it was freezing.
And the temperature was dropping on top of that.
Yeah, no.
Like, by the time we leave, we're going to be an icicle.
Facts.
And on top of that, and we got to sit in the back row, which was not supposed to be sat to.
Right.
And we sat like right next to
them.
So we got to watch them watch the show as we watched the show, and they watched us, and we watched them, and they was like, oh, hey. And my favorite part, my bad, this is way too long. We're going to cut it right after this.
It's okay.
My favorite part was when Tommy was taking pictures. I said Tommy's catch line, tagline. I was like, hey, Tommy, we canceling Christmas. And he was like, for everybody. And I was like, hey, we locked it.
We locked it.
So that was real dope.
Yeah. So if you are watching live on YouTube right now, we can see your comments. So if you want to just, roll up in the chat, ask us some questions as we're going along, it's there. So definitely make sure y'all tune in with us. We're trying to make the show more interactive so you guys know, what's going on. So today we will be talking about the real cost of starting your business. Obviously, you gotta have money to scale a business, but do you actually need money to start a business?
Spoiler, the answer is yes. We can get around it. We can delay certain costs, but
so his job is to make sure that you're super compliant and you do all the things that you need to do in order to have a business. My job is to show you how to do that with next to nothing. Okay, because we've been at it since 17, and I ain't had no money then.
I mean, I ain't had no money then either. We definitely made it out, but I'm letting you know what you need so that you can keep these costs in mind. That's what it is. It's not. I don't want to scare you, because a lot of places, if you read things online, they're gonna be like, "Yo, the money needs right now. You got to come up with $10,000, $100,000. Listen, start where you are and build to it. Okay." Yes. But these are the costs that you need to understand, and need to keep in mind on your journey, because having this goal and having this point where you're going to reach is something that is very important. All right. And we not want to knock it down. We don't want to sugarcoat it. One of the first things we're going to do is hit that reality check, right? Because an average startup in New York City ranges from $3,000 for a micro business to upward of $200,000 for physical locations. And again, these is realistic things, right? Why is it serious? Because if you're trying to get a commercial space, if you're trying to open up a physical mom and pop shop, this is New York, okay? This is some of the most sought after real estate in the world, okay? Like, commercial spaces average at $120 per square foot, and prime locations can cost upwards of $16,000 monthly.
And that's in Manhattan. There's a little bit of wiggle room as you move into the, other boroughs and things like that. But
like, these are something I really want you to think of and be realistic about, because you want to open up on Saks Fifth, you're going to have to pay Saks Fifth money. Listen, we done events that $10K was one night for renting a fucking venue, Okay,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
we gonna be realistic. Okay, obviously you don't have to start there. But if that is somewhere, if that is your goal, if that's what you're moving towards, that's something you have to think about, something you have to plan for, and something you have to always be keeping in mind.
Yes.
All right. Second, the hidden truth behind things is no matter how much you plan, no matter how much you budget, there's always going to be this thing called contingencies. All right. That means that whatever you expected, it was unexpected. Okay. You might have
whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
Will go wrong. Okay. And you might have a budget for $5,000 and the extra $500 showed up. You might have planned for one plate of rice and 2 plates of rice is needed. You might need to buy. We had microphones.
And my gosh!
And then we didn't have microphones.
And then we didn't have microphones.
And we needed the microphones.
And
so contingencies.
Almost $600 on some microphones.
So contingently, there was contingent on the microphones.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, again, these is real life things that we had to not sugarcoat or nothing. So budget, and that budget always start. No matter what number you hit, add an extra 20%.
When I just tying in experience to the conversation. So whenever I did events, I would always list out my budget. Mind you, never had any money, but I had a budget.
Always.
So I knew what my goal was of how much I needed to make, how much each person needed to give me in order for me to hit that budget in order to pay the bills that I had to pay. Right? That's how I planned events for years. That's still kind of how I plan events.
Same. It's one of the reasons why I love events. It's just a balance book at that point.
Exactly. So, but I will always put, depending on the size of the event and what it was that we were doing, I will always put $500 or $1,000 miscellaneous. Because miscellaneous is everything. That's that extra pan of rice, like you said. That's that extra banner that, my ice cream banner recently got taken at a festival that I was working, and the person never, didn't look at it and go, oh, wait, I'm not Scoop. There it is. Let me find a way to return this. Nobody cares. So, all the extras that you have to pay for that you didn't think that you had to pay for, you always want to budget in that extra depending on what it is that, you're doing.
I'll tell you, accountant says 20%. That's something I learned in 2011. Wow, that's how long ago I got drilled into
I learned that today.
It's like
I literally 20%. Just chose a number out the sky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's where I got 500 to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. They told me since 2011, 20% of your final budget, of your net profit, your net costs, add extras contingencies. It's actually funny enough. When I re-release my worksheet, I have a spreadsheet that has all the formulas in it, and you just plug in your numbers, and it'll calculate your whole profit loss statement.
Okay.
And in it, the contingencies of 20% is there.
Oh wow!
So it'll calculate it for you.
Look at
us. Did that. That's how I did that so long ago. I just remembered. I was today years old when I remembered I did that. Yeah. That's how long ago. All right. So we're gonna get into that. We got into that, right? Understand that we expect the unexpected. And the first thing, right? Now, I want to start here because there's the right way to do things, and the reason why I say the right way to do things is because without these steps, you put yourself in position to be in a lot of trouble.
Right.
Okay. And the reason why I say this, the first thing we're talking about is the formation of your business, right?
Yes.
So technically, you could just get up today, open up a website, be like, hey, I run a business. And that's a sole proprietorship.
Yes.
By legal standards, you can go to the IRS, get an EIN from that, and do whatever you want. You could run your business right away. The problem with that is you and your business are essentially one legal entity.
Correct.
Meaning everything that you have in your personal life is at risk for anything that your business does. Right? If somebody doesn't like, if you started making food, and had no food insurance, and somebody got sick, you selling plates, they could sue you, and it's you that's in trouble.
Not their business. Not
your house, your car, your bank account, your job wages, garnishes is in trouble. If you thought it was cool to have a logo that you saw and you tweaked a little bit, and it wasn't copywritten or done in a way that wasn't infringing on someone else's copyright or intellectual property, they could sue you and take your whole business. And if your business isn't separate, they'll take everything from you. So now, with that being said, the cost of doing business or starting up is the cost of creating a legal structure, whether it be an LLC, a S corp, a LLP. But I'm doubt you starting LLPs unless y'all doctors and certified professionals. A C corp, those kind of things, right? So now we're gonna get into that. We're not gonna cut you out. We're gonna give you exactly what it is. So in New York, you got to file for the articles of organization. That's all right, that is your
$205.
$205. You might get a little discount on LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer. They be having them little pay this and that, but you still got to pay your state filing fee.
No, they don't. Right.
You might be able to pay the federal fee, but the state filing fee is still there. Okay. Your publication requirements depend on the county, because some counties in New York require that your LLC be published in some form of newspaper or media publication.
But like, what newspaper? I know that there's still print publications. However, like,
it's actually a pretty I looked into this a while ago. I actually have to look into what it is now, but I doubt they changed the laws because the laws were archaic when it was created. But the idea is that to prove that your business has launched, you have to publish it in some form of paper to show that you're open to business, to basically advertise. But then now it's created in this weird way where only certain newspapers that are authorized or publications are authorized are allowed to post what you do. So then they have like a kind of a monopoly on like how much it costs to place your stuff in their articles.
Like that.
It's weird.
I'm about to. I don't
take it into mind. Take it into mind and do your research to see if you can do it. Because I have seen people get around it depending on your county. I think in Brooklyn you can avoid that.
What? I didn't even say nothing. But no, listen. So there's a I'm going to find out what the name of the company is. They will do like your LLC registration and all that, and then it also has like an extra fee that you can add on for the publication, and it's not a lot. Yeah. I think it was like maybe $100, $200 extra dollars instead of this $500 to $1,500 thing that it says here.
You could be on like, I don't know, Rockland County, and they like, we got two newspapers here. Okay, one is 1,000 and one is 1,200. Which one you want? So yeah, make sure you look into your counties. Make sure you look into exactly where it is from, and check it out for real.
Yeah. Then also once you have the publication, there is an additional $50 certificate of publication. But again, just look into like what's actually needed for where you are. Adjacent to an LLC, if you have an LLC or you decide to open an LLC and then you do something else that aligns with your business that you want to name under a different name, you would then register for a DBA, which is doing business as. That's about $25, again, plus publication fees, depending on where you are. But it's always a good idea. So say, for example, you have a beauty supply store, right? And then you want to create your own product or something like that. You're selling it in your beauty supply store, whatever your plan is for that, but you don't want to create a separate entity for that secondary product. You can basically put doing business as, or if you better idea, because if you have a service-based business and you sell a product, depending on what the product is, you probably should just completely separate it. But say you have a beauty supply store and then you have a separate business allowing braiders or something to do hair in the back of the store, that can be a separate thing. So it all depends on like what it is that you are already doing with the company, and then how this new service or product aligns with it. Sometimes you could just leave it and let it flow under what you already have. But sometimes if you want to call it a different name, or if you wanted to do something different with it, you could create a DBA. You can also create separate bank accounts for that DBA. That's a whole other.
Basically, DBAs are ways to separate the different brands under your organization.
Yes.
So you can have an organization, an entity that is like the company that runs everything. But then your DBA gets to separate the different brands that run in your ecosystem in a way that gives you some sort of differentiation between the businesses.
Right.
Especially for us multi-entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Just, again, be careful because you don't want to mix too many different businesses. One, when you file your articles of organization, they ask you what your business does.
Yeah.
To fit you in a thing. So don't start an agriculture company and then move into the medical field and then start selling sneakers under the same U.S. CIS codes. That's a little crazy.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like
unless you have to. But
yeah, I'm saying unless, you know, you have a medical company and then you start selling sneakers that are for, you know, yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. We're not trying to make it make sense here, man.
I'm always going to make it make sense. I'm sorry. I can't help
DBA
it.
when you need to separate your brands, form separate entities when you need to separate your businesses by industry or by category.
I feel like I should have known this a very long time ago, but I actually only learned this a couple of years ago, that you can actually reserve a business name. It's like $20. Had no clue.
Oh, yeah.
I had no clue. I would just go do my due diligence, look online, see if it existed or whatever. And then I would just go register it if it was something that I wanted to do. But I had no clue that I could just go and put a reservation on the name so nobody
can get it. And they hold it I think for 60 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you're starting an S corp or a corporation, you have to file your articles of name reservation first, and then once you get that certificate, then you file the articles of incorporation. From the state has to hold that name for you to file your S corp or C corp.
So my question is, what is the difference between an LLC, S corp, and a C corp?
Okay, I like that question. That's one of my favorite questions, actually.
I know. That's why I asked.
So, the difference between an LLC, an S corp, and a C corp is the way that liability, meaning responsibility, is transferred, or is how much protection you have versus how much of a separate entity it is from the person running it. All right. So let's start with a traditional corporation. A corporation that like Kellogg's Limited or General Mills or Nike or any of those corporations are structured as completely legal separate entities from those that own the company. If you own the company, you are what is called a shareholder. If you're owner of a corporation, you buy what are called shares, aka stocks, and that is what the ownership is. The ownership is different from the CEO, it's different from anyone that's working in the company. Those are employees, complete separate things. And so the corporation is its own legal separate entity that has its own legal protections as if it is its own person. So a corporation can get sued by itself. It is responsible for its own taxes, responsible for its own bank accounts, it's responsible for its own profits, losses, and maintaining of itself. Then it is taxed at its own rate for its profits, its income, and then after it's taxed, then it is allowed to give its money to the shareholders. And then the shareholders are taxed on their gains rate. I think it's capital gains, your capital gains tax. I forgot which tax goes into effect. But you're effectively getting taxed twice because the corporation is a separate entity and it gets taxed on its own. And then the individual gets taxed on the earnings it gets from the dividends, the profits. Now, the reason why it's separate is, as I said, like the people who own a stock in Tesla isn't the one who runs Tesla, right? The CEO runs Tesla. Oh, Tesla's a wrong thing because stupid. The CEO of Kellogg's does not own Kellogg's. The people who own the stocks in Kellogg's own Kellogg's. But they're not responsible for doing anything. They just own it. They hired a CEO and the CEO hired all the other people in the management team, blah, blah, blah. Build out the business and they run the business, right? Now, for us, more smaller scale things that aren't hiring a whole team to run our business and having board of directors meetings every quarter and getting our fiscal reports. They are legal entities to help you get along that way, namely the LLC and the S Corp. The LLC is a limited liability corporation, meaning it is a more looser entity that helps protect the owner but still gives basically the privileges of operating kind of like a sole proprietorship and tax leniencies, as well as creating opportunities for, as I said, that legal liability separation. So LLCs are able to float in the in-between. And an S Corp is kind of like corporations for people that technically it's corporations for people with less than 99 shareholders, which means it's separated into a small corporation, which doesn't actually have to do with the amount of employees you have. It has to do with the amount of board members you have.
Right.
And so an S Corp is a tax election that you can make, proving basically, hey, I also work in my business. I'm a big part of my business, the corporation. So don't tax me as a separate person because me and my business are very in one. Mm-hmm. Now, S Corps versus LLCs. LLCs are a lot cheaper to deal with and have a lot less. They have a lot less protection on the general scale, but a lot of them you don't need when you're starting up because you're not taking on multiple assets and doing a bunch of different accounting nonsense and stuff. S Corps have higher fees. I learned this the hard way. I was a big fan of S Corp till I got an S Corp, and I was like, oh, a lot more responsibility. You got to file reports every quarter. You got a whole bunch of stuff. And they have a higher cost, but the tax saving is higher if they're making $50,000 or more a year. LLCs are better if you have less than $50,000 or more. $50,000 or less. So that's the main difference. Okay. Yeah, that's the main difference. I could go into a whole bunch of minutia, but that's enough.
I think that was good. I want people to be informed.
Yes.
So, so for artists and creatives, because that is a lot of our network, some things that we would suggest is maybe consider being a sole proprietorship initially so you can minimize the cost.
So now here's where I'll start with that, right? If you're going to start with a sole proprietorship, understand where your journey is, right? If you are just starting up, if you're an artist or a creative and you're still in that brainstorming phase, you're still in that phase where you're testing the waters before you have a brand identity. Because a lot of artists don't forget, like, once you start making music, yes, you're an artist, but you're not a product yet because you don't sell anything, right? You want to have a manager, but you don't have nothing to manage, right? Yeah. When you build a fan base and you build something that drives traction and some kind of monetization, then you want to make sure you lock that down and you LLC and do all those things. But in the beginning, you can save yourself a lot of time and headache by just registering your artist name as yourself and still get those royalties and get those basic things set up. While no one's going to sue you because you're not stealing people's lyrics, right? You're not stealing people's beats and products and services and things that you would get sued for, right? No. So,
which is why I said
which is why you could be a sole proprietor.
In the very beginning.
You're doing your research to make sure you're not infringing on anyone's intellectual property. I would hope you wouldn't do such a thing. Especially after you watch Making Moguls. You would never dare do such a thing, would you? Would you not?
I'm crying. Yeah, so definitely in the very beginning, before you have an actual product within yourself or a product outside of your physical being, i.e., merch or shows, because a lot of artists are, curating their own experiences and things like that. That's when you want to go the route of registering separately. I will also say that so some people need spaces or space, right? As far as creatives goes, maybe not necessarily an artist. I don't know. Artists always want to open like a recording studio or something like that and have no real need of doing it themselves. But if you are a creative and you need space, you can always go the route of shared studio spaces. You can find that all the time, everywhere. You can also contact me,
right here,
for New Heat Studios. We do memberships. Okay.
If you're in New York City, you can share this space.
Yes, and if you're visiting, we are a home for creatives. So definitely hit me up. But we do monthly memberships for anybody that's looking to create content, create experiences. I'm a creative director myself. My entire team does a lot of different things, so we can all, help you in different ways on executing whatever your vision is. But yeah, it's definitely one of those spaces that, we allow people in to utilize time in order to get to the goals that they want to get to.
There we go. I like that. Yeah. Make sure y'all tap it. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Yes.
So now the second thing is, we told y'all how to protect yourself. Now, where's your money going to go? We got to talk about the money, all right? We got to really talk about this money. And the first thing, no matter what, LLC, and I got to really take my glasses off for this.
Because why y'all scared? Why y'all?
Because, all right. Remember how I told you about the separation of entities and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that they always look at, right, is where your money for your business is going. If your money for your business is going right into your bank account, right out your bank account, your personal checking account, even if you filed a LLC, a S Corp, a C Corp, or a C Corp posted as an S Corp that own a LLC inside of a LLP will cross on the NMNOP and sign from the NAACP. Yeah. If that money is moving in and out next to your rent, your food, and everything else, there's something called piercing the corporate veil, which the accountants will use to be like, hey, there is no separation here between you and your entity. You guys are of one. You guys do not move any separately. And they will take your money. They will take all of it from you. And also, if you are serious about your business, right? And I have to leave my glasses off for this, because if you really are serious about your business, you're serious about making that money. That money should be in a separate place. You should be able to look at that money separately. And that money shouldn't be an easy swipe if Apple charged you the third time this month and you don't remember what you paid for. And then you went out to eat and went to brunch and decided to have the extra steak and eggs, which cost the extra money, and you wanted the hollandaise sauce and all that extra shit. And now your business is down $375 because after that second one, you wanted to buy a bottle. Okay? No.
Yeah.
All right? None of that should be so easy to do. Okay? Your business account should be separate. One, for that reason. Like, don't set yourself up to lose like that. Don't set yourself up for unexpected money to hit to pop out your account, and now the money you needed for your business is gone. Right? Secondly, one, you should be creating a financial discipline, right, of separating your monies. And thirdly, now I'm going to have to put my glasses back on for this.
I'm so weak. First of all, there's something about the experience of going into a bank branch. Forget doing it online. That's boring. Going into a bank branch with your documents and saying, hey, I have a business and I want to open an account. Like, they treat you different.
They do.
It's like...
Granted, a lot of brick and mortar businesses usually have a minimum on your thing is usually a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
But
online, they saving you having to show up for that. But when you do show up with the money, they treat you real nice.
Listen, no. Because when I opened my account for Dime Life, I went in there with like $300.
But that was for Navy.
No, it was for Bank of America.
Oh,
yeah.
So then
yeah,
it depends
you don't
on
have to have.
That then depends on your business.
Yeah.
Because when I went to TD Bank, they told me 3,000.
Oh.
So again, it really does depend on the bank.
Do your research.
Do your research. Look into your bank
Facts.
account. There are some, as you said, low as 300. There's some online ones that will give you bank accounts for $0.
Capital One didn't want a lot of money either.
All right. So again, separating that business, that money is a key, And the last thing is for tax purposes. That was what I was gonna say. Trust me, as somebody that had to do it myself, bro. There's so many times I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'll run this transaction here. Right? It's just one transaction. I'll move the money around. It's one transaction. 6 months later, I'm going through the books, and I'm like, yo, there was that one transaction. Now I got to go back into my personal account, look through the account, screenshot the thing, make sure it match up, make sure I transferred the money, make sure I understood where the money came from, where it was going.
Yep.
Save yourself the goddamn headache.
Yep.
If it's all in one place, you could literally just import it. You could give it to your tax professional. You could run it through Don't use AI yet. Please, it's not good enough to be not fucking up your bank account statements. But use something. Use something. And it's going to be so much easier if it's all in one place. Please.
Also, if you create some sort of like schedule, because one thing I did learn from, listening to podcasts like Make a Mogul, there are a lot of companies that take cash payments and digital payments. We gonna work on that. We gonna work on that because digital is a thing, right? But you have to get it into the bank account. So what I learned that you should do is you compile the cash and you do bank drops. You could do them daily. You could do them once a week. So it looks like this one lump sum came in, but you also want to, like, depending on the type of business you have, you don't want to, just be walking around with mad cash and stuff like that.
Yeah, after $9,000, I have to look what the limit is for businesses. But I know anytime you walk into a bank for $10,000, anything almost $10,000 and up, they have to report it to the IRS. Like there's a whole paperwork you got to fill out and stuff. So, and again, don't be afraid of this, bro. Like, you're doing a legal business here. Please don't be afraid of the IRS, because then, trust me, the IRS got Al Capone. They're going to come for you, too, okay? They don't play. They will catch you, okay? So just do it right. Just do it right. Make it simple. Set up a bank account. In fact, you should have, 3 bank accounts. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's one that you should have for taxes. Every time you do a sale, move 33% of that into that one bank account. Don't touch it. Trust me, it will save yourself the headache. I need to do this myself right now for 5 businesses. And this is me reminding myself. So when I cut the short, it'll show me in and I'll put my alarm. Don't worry, I got you and I got me with it. The second one is your operating expenses. And third would be for your savings / goals that you're doing. The reason why I say that is because, again, when you separate your money that way, you can move money in a way that helps make your books look how you want them to look. And that is going to be the second part. Like, we're going to get into that in a second of why you want to do these things. Because as I always say on the show, leverage is key.
Yes.
And leveraging your position as a business is going to be what helps you thrive. And the best way to do that is to set yourself up properly with financials.
Yes.
With the accounts, though, one of the things I want you to make sure that you do, don't just hop on and just they got a bank account, let me sign up, let's go. Because so many different banks have so many different fees, hidden fees, wire transfers, transaction fees. So many have introductory rates that disappear after a while. Some might have hidden fees that if you don't have certain balance, they hit you with maintenance fees. Make sure you understand all of these. Make sure you write them out, plan for them, and understand them so that you can find the best banks that are best for you. Credit unions are great for smaller businesses. Um, Bigger banks are great for customer support across large states and across large areas. Find what works for you, do the research, and understand what your cost of doing business is.
Yes.
Also, you need to know that because you got to write this off in taxes, right? This is the cost of doing business.
Yeah, that is definitely a fact. And then also, I feel like the whole business credit conversation is a whole other thing. But what I would say that you should look into is the same way you would get a secured credit card on the personal end to build your personal credit. You should look into whatever bank that you decide to go with. Also, find out what their structure is around secured business credit cards as well. I think so. Bank of America, I love them. So I still bank with them. I've been banking with them for like 5 years now, 5, 6 years. Bank of America's secured credit. Huh?
They did some shady shit with black people in loans. So fuck 'em. But
so sorry, but listen,
they do what they gotta do.
I was about to say,
but all banks probably fucked up with black people at one point
exactly.
or the other. So fuck them all.
Like unless we just gonna keep the money under the mattress, but then we can't do that either because you have to be able to see the money so that you can get the funding.
Mattress, just don't.
So yeah, we gotta put it somewhere. Okay, yes. But I'm just giving an example. So for them, the secure credit card that I had gotten was $1,000. You had to put. I don't think any of them is less than that. So sorry, you're gonna have to get $1,000. But yeah, when you get that credit card, obviously use it for your business expenses. Don't try not to use high limits, blah, blah, all the credit stuff that you should already know. And if you don't know, it's another episode.
Watch our old episodes or tell us if you should do a new one.
Right, exactly. But what I would say is make sure that you pay it on time, of course, and that your utilization. Before your statement date, not your due date. Yeah. And then also just make sure that your utilization is not at max. And if it is, you knock it down before the statement date, like you said, so that it builds that business credit for you. Eventually, usually after 6 months to a year, they give that back to you as long as you paid it on time. Mm-hmm. Okay. Come on. You got to make sure that you work with them. They're going to work with you, So that's definitely what I would say. That's kind of like the intro to business credit building, advice that I would give.
Yeah, one advice I would say is when you're starting a business, if you have either A, good personal credit that you can personal guarantee, or B, you watched one of our episodes on business credit and you did the work to build up your business credits. Take advantage of all the introductory rates, but be smart. Yeah. There's a lot of credit cards and a lot of high risk, high reward credit cards that will give you 0% APR for the first year. And if you are smart, there are so many ways that you can manipulate that and move balance transfers and do a lot of things where you can move those 0% APRs from one card to the other and delay having to pay a lot of interest on certain things if you play the system right. We'll do a whole separate episode on that because I don't have the time to go into how that works, but that is my gem to you. You could borrow a lot of money for a lot very cheap on those introductory rates, and if you play it right, you can maneuver your business to have access to funds. No, don't start borrowing a whole bunch of funds that you don't know how you pay it back yet because it's going to hurt. Trust me, I know that personally. Yeah. But if you do it right, you can really make some times. Yep. Okay. And the last thing on this segment, real quick, is insurance, because I know we all like to wing it. I know we all like to wing it. Trust me. I've been winging it for a long time, okay?
Love winging it.
But, again, wings only winging it till your wing get clipped, and you can't unclip that wing, okay? And when there's general liability insurance for $42 to $67 a month, is it worth risking? Is it worth risking if you selling plates to get sued, and especially for food? when you could pay for less than $100 a month to protect yourself, when people have food allergies and all these things that could really detrimentally affect someone that you do not know. Is it worth like causing someone to sue you because you did someone's nails wrong and their cuticle gets infected or something? You never know.
Yeah,
you never know. It don't even have. You don't even have to do something. I've had people come to my events and do chargebacks just because they didn't want to pay. Like,
oh my gosh.
Again, there's so many different ways that people can just try to take advantage of a situation, and having insurance can protect you. So again, if you want to wing it, you can wing it. I cannot knock anyone that's winging it because I have winged it myself. But I also understand the risk that I'm taking. Again, being business is all about mitigating your risk and what risks you can stomach. If you got an iron gut and you willing to hold it down, then by all means. But I'm building moguls, not monsters. And I don't need another Scarface. I need another Tim Cook. So make sure you look into that. Make sure you look into the insurance.
And it's not expensive. Like, depending on what it is that you're doing, there's a range, but it usually doesn't get like out of hand. I've even gotten I was getting business insurance before I had like general liability insurance, and it's so easy. It's so funny.
Insurance, all
that stuff. My aunt was like, "What? You're the only person I know that does that." Well, I'm also the only person you know that like throws events on a regular basis. So, but I would get event insurance just to cover, just in case. And nothing ever happened that I needed it. But I love that a lot of spaces, even like when you're moving in or you're leasing them and things like that, they require you to have insurance or tell you like, you're if you don't get it, then that's your business.
You're liable.
To tell you. Yeah. So I had gotten I had opened a ice cream shop location for Scoop There It Is in Tallahassee. And because I was so far, mind you, in order to get the lease and all of that, that was one of the requirements to have insurance. And I also was selling food, so they wasn't playing that. But what was great was that I went with a company called Next Insurance, and my bill was like maybe $40 a month. Like, it was super cheap. And again, I was selling food. So, just to cover my staff that was there, to cover, our guests and our customers and stuff like that, it was well worth the $40 a month.
Yep. The one industry I will say, my niche industry that these costs are always going to be higher for,
of course,
is the cannabis industry. For those that are here listening to me, because I got crowned the king of cannabis.
Okay,
I'll take it.
Humble brag.
But since we here, cannabis businesses understand, especially in New York, that you're going to be paying $3,000 to upward to $25,000 annually, depending on the license type, because you're dealing with something that is federally illegal, state regulated. And please, again, if you get into the legal cannabis industry, you know that I am here to walk you through this, and we're going to do it right. Because you only get one chance to do this right and make your name in the history books in this moment of cannabis actualization and realization, and you want to do it right.
Yep. Okay. So we're gonna go over a couple of industry specific startup costs, just in case it falls within whatever it is that you do. So there's so many.
Let's just knock them out. Speed round this.
We don't gotta go over all of them. I'm gonna do this first one. So, hairstylists and salons. So the total investment range is usually between $10,000 and $200,000. So the breakdown of costs is a space build out, $50 to $75 per square foot. So sometimes you can get into a space that that price range will align. Sometimes you can. I've seen a lot of spaces, and I guess that's more on the event space type of lane, but Sometimes they do allow you into the space and allow you the time to build out before you actually have to continue paying rent. I don't really know if that is a thing for salons and, barbershops and that sort of thing. But with event spaces, you do have some flexibility depending on how you walked into the space, whether or not it was already, kind of put together, how much work needs to be put in. Sometimes a landlord will give you that, wiggle room to be able to take a month or two. One of my friends, he was given 3 months so that he can like build out and then started paying rent.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, you could get a lot of good negotiating terms if you work with your people. Again, if you show up with the right documents.
For sure.
One way you can mitigate that cost is if you're renting a chair at an establishment versus
suites, chairs.
Versus building out your own salon. This is more like building out your square footage. But hey, whatever. If you want to go the hairstylist route, the salon route, this is just the cost.
Yeah.
All right, branding and design.
About $500 to $3,000. So that's all of that's your logo. That's your booking site. Because I won't say website. You want to get like a booking site so that you don't have to really cover the cost of an actual website. There are subscription services where your customers can go onto a ready-made booking site, book you, very easy, straight to the point. A lot of them has, insurance and different things like that built into it for you already. This is your decor. How does the space look? What do you want your customers to feel when they walk into the space? This is paying for those things.
The flyers, your artwork,
your banners, your whatever is in the space. If you want pink salon chairs instead of the normal black ones, like all of the things.
Anything that's part of the branding and design that covers the aesthetic of the look and feel of your brand.
Yep. Marketing and website, 500 to 10,000. I don't really see.
No. 10 bands is good if you got a good marketing budget. Again, not the website, but for the marketing budget, I would say for certain brands, for certain businesses,
it depends.
Having a good marketing budget can go very far. That's all I gotta say. The more money you have into marketing, the further you can take your business. So that's why I would say that 500 to 10,000, because you don't need $10,000 to run nothing. Yeah, but if you could put $10,000 aside for marketing, you're gonna go far, boy.
You're gonna flip that 10 real quick, and real far. Legal fees and permits, $2,500 a year on average.
That's your lawyers, your accountants,
your
permits for running your stuff, your license
to be able
stuff.
To do hair.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Not that, everybody doesn't have that, but, if you do, that's, paying for that. Salon insurance, again, that insurance, $2,900 per year on average. So, in case your salon catches on fire because you left the hot combs on. I watched Sisters. Yeah, that happened. Anything happens to your equipment, your guests, like, we don't really do perms around here no more, but you leave somebody's perm in too long and then their hair falls out, or, you doing your homeboy shape up or something, and I don't know how sharp them clippers be, you know what I'm saying? But all of the things, there's a lot of things that can happen. Furniture and equipment, $1,000 to $3,000 per operator. That's your chairs.
That's your chairs and all your equipment.
All the things that that
Clippers,
you need.
your styling equipment, all that good stuff.
Styling tools and products. I don't know why that's separate from equipment, but
I guess equipment is more like physical stuff.
Yeah.
Like your sink and your basin.
That
and
makes
things
sense.
Like that.
Yep.
And then your styling tools and products is the
blow dryers, hot combs, flat irons. Yeah.
307 per operator. All right. And the average cost of the launch, $14,000 with the range of $3,000 to $75,000. If you rich and got a small loan of $1 million,
a small loan of $1 million,
then you can definitely spend $7,500. If not,
$75,000.
If not, a nice $3,000, $2,000. You can much for anything,
Man,
but a nice 3,000 budget.
One of these little kid vendors to bake some cookies and some cupcakes. Better go get your auntie down the block to make some plates. All right,
with the insurance,
with
please,
the insurance,
please
with the insurance. Don't get nobody sick. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, like, call up Say Cheese, have them bring over some dancing characters to get the kids in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now that you keep mentioning the plates, I do actually have to say this because I actually had this experience recently. And I'm not going to spoil too much, right? But I went to 2 adult events, like milestone adult events. That's what I'll say, right?
Okay.
I don't want to spoil,
Okay.
And at both events, they had black caterers.
Okay.
Right? And these events usually aren't buffet style.
Okay.
The general ethos of these things, but these events were buffet style.
Okay.
And in both events, they weren't even in the same state. One was in New York, one was in Philadelphia.
Mm.
The food ran out, and the chicken was undercooked. And I was
the food ran out, and the chicken was undercooked.
Yeah.
Meaning that the chicken was undercooked, but the food ran out, so there was no more chicken.
There was no more chicken.
So
everybody just ate
undercooked chicken.
Yeah. And black people already don't like not well done food.
Right.
So like the fact that you was a black person serving undercooked chicken to black people was insane. And like, I hope nobody got sick. I don't think nobody got sick. But I hope those people had insurance.
Are they still in business?
I didn't.
Because the caterer was at the event, but you were supporting somebody, so you don't know the caterer.
So I don't know the caterer, and I made sure not to know the caterer.
Yeah,
I made sure. When they tell you your name, their name, I made sure my brain was like, no, I don't remember who you are. Okay, in fact, this is the one part of the night I want to forget. Yeah. Which was sad because the first event they had a whole Caribbean menu, and the whole time I was waiting for my food, I'm talking this up like, yo, they about to serve us some real shit. They got plantains and jerk chicken and on the and then I was like, wait a minute,
that look right.
Why you did this to me?
Something's off here.
Why you ran out of all the stuff I came on this line to get?
Yeah, that's normal.
But it's
chicken is not.
It's not normal if this is it's a set number of guests at this. You should be able to cook and portion for the set number. That's why there was a guest list to this thing, and no plus ones. That's why you had to RSVP at a certain date to these things. It wasn't my money. It wasn't my money, but the person who threw the event, it was their money, and I really wanted them to have their money back.
Yeah, that's
okay. I really wanted them to have their money back. So yes, this is why you need your insurance. Because if not, I will ruin your business because you over here serving uncooked chicken. I'm not gonna do that. That's a little mean. But please get it together.
I will go online and talk.
Get it together, okay?
You.
All right, we're gonna knock that out.
I scrolled past
all
that
the way so
stuff. That you could get right into the cannabis.
Okay.
Industry, everything
else they can come to us for.
Yeah. Look, we got breakdowns for photographers and visual artists, general artists, models, talent, a modeling agency. But we gonna jump straight into cannabis entrepreneurs.
Yes, because New York cannabis scene has been legal for the last 5 years, and it's still a right time to jump in. Yeah, 2020, April 2020. April 16th, I think. Wow. I actually need to look up that day. I think it was April 16th.
2020?
Yep. If I actually got that date right.
Focus on all the least important things.
Yep.
At that time. Like, why was that the thing that needed
New York
to happen?
Was hurting, okay?
Yeah.
COVID just happened, and niggas need money. They start selling drugs, okay? The state was like, yo.
Listen.
Shit, I mean, they outside, okay? So we need to make that money, okay? And New York decided to open license types. All right, so the application fee is $1,000 non-refundable.
And we're talking about a retail dispensary.
This is for retail dispensaries. There's all the licenses that I'm gonna list in a minute, but the retail dispensary is gonna cost $1,000 just to apply. Okay, just to apply.
And you ain't getting your money back.
This is not refundable. So. This is just to be like, hey, I want to do this. So if you don't got $1,000 to show up, just to show up on the door, you ask the fuck out.
Yeah.
Second, the license type is $7,000. I have to double check. But I think this should be right. $7,000 covering a 2-year period. The total startup investment is $1,000 to $75,000. $100,000
to $750,000.
I don't know why I said 1,000. My brain didn't want to see the other two zeros because I was still looking at the other entrepreneurs. Sorry, these guys, you guys, we're making real money in a legal space, so you gotta show up with real money.
Yeah.
I think also you have to have a $1 million like business bond or something like that. It's not listed here, but you have to be able to show that you can move and handle at least $1 million.
Oh wow, okay.
To even get this license, especially for retail dispensaries. So New York State's not playing. They're not giving it to nobody. The only way you can skip that is if you are part of the CARD, which means you was affected by the war on drugs, long story short, and you apply for one of those licenses that are equity licenses, then they, create ways for you to partner or get around these restrictions. But outside of that, if you want to just show up and do business, this is the cost of doing business. And insurance, of course, for cannabis, start running up because it starts at $3,000, go up to $20,000. Sometimes it can go up more if you are covering multiple locations. Please don't play around because cannabis is one of the most volatile ones, especially because you're working with state versus federal. Don't short on your compliance. You got compliance technologies that also come in to cost, changing regulations, making sure that your stuff fit all of the different protocols that you need to fit. So make sure that you are not coming into this playing a game. Second license is the cultivation license. If you want to grow, if you want to get into that side of the business, then it's $1,000 application fee. And the license fee is tiered by canopy size. Canopy size meaning the size of your grow area. If you're doing indoor, it starts at about 1,750, and increase with square footage. If you're doing outdoor, then it's $1,000. Mixed light is $1,500. So indoor versus outdoor depends on where you have to grow. If you're growing in the city versus outside of the city. If you're growing upstate versus in the state, downstate. If you have the space to grow outdoor, which means you're not growing in the winter time or don't have any ways to grow past harvesting season. So many things you have to take advantage of, but understand that these costs are there. And the last one I'm going to tap into is the micro business license for those that are trying to get your foot in the door. Again, application fee is still $1,000. The annual license fee is about $4,500 and lower than the full retail and cultivation. There's a lot of restrictions, just like the S Corp that I talked about. We'll do an episode on that if people are interested in that. But there is a micro business license that is more flexible and allows you to move across different parts of the industry. But there's more restrictions to make sure that you are exactly a micro-based business. And we talked about the social equity benefits. If you are a social equity applicant, like a card, which conditional adult use retail dispensary grant program. You got a 50% reduction for qualified applicants. So you pay that $1,000 turn into $500 and up to $30,000 per eligible dispensary owner. You getting grant money for rent, security, POS systems. Although we had a whole snafu in the legal because they promised a whole bunch of people this grant program. And then they fucked us over, and the money was gone. Which is why we ended up with the Grower Showcase, because money was disappearing.
Right.
Yeah, because the government like to make money disappear. So these are things that you can deal with, but make sure that you're taking advantage of these programs if you are getting to the cannabis industry.
Right. All right. Let's see. All right, so let's run through the hidden costs everyone forgets. So overhead expenses that add up. So monthly operating costs. People don't think about the utilities, the electricity, internet, phone bill, which if you use it differently over the course of the month, can change. It can either increase, usually doesn't decrease, but it can increase with any like inefficiencies. Software subscriptions, you forget that you signed up for something and it costs like $50 to $100 a month.
Yeah, because, it starts easy. First, you're like, oh, no, I don't got nothing. Then you got Canva. Then you sub the
free trials, and you forget.
Oh, you enjoying it. Oh, you enjoying it. You're like, damn, this actually is valuable. I was running like, Canva, between Canva, Wix website. We had a business phone number. And I think we had like two other things I was paying for. We was running like $400 a month, $300 a month, and just subscription of website stuff that proved to be invaluable that we had in Canabaddies. So yeah, these things can really start adding up. And then you got Adobe Creative Clouds. You got your subscription for Pro Tools. Every software company is running subscription-based models these days. So you basically can't even you can't even pirate nothing. So yeah. You just them costs can add up quickly. Second, if you're hiring people, minimum wage in New York is $15 an hour. Please don't cheat people.
No, it's not. It is $16.50.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's $16.50, and as of January, it'll be $17. Yeah, so just keep that in mind as well. However, there are programs that cost the city that $17 an hour and not you.
Yes.
So definitely make sure that you tap in with your local SYP provider. If you have a business that,
fits the parameters
and people can actually help within certain younger age ranges can assist with, because they're more than capable of doing admin things or helping with, sales if you have like a retail store, or helping set up if you have an event space, like different things like that. So, usually the parameters are that, for summer youth, they're usually between 16 and 24 years old. There's a winter program. As long as you were signed up with summer youth and you create the relationship, the organization usually calls you back for the WLG program, which is Work, Learn, Grow, where they can work after school if they are in school still actively. And those people are usually between 16 and 20 years old. So there's a lot of resources. I'm meeting with somebody else this week that's not a part of either of those programs, but does have interns. So I'll get back to you guys with the name of that company. But there are resources for you to get help with your business. It is contingent on certain times of the year, but, it helps.
Yeah, and I was going to say, not only those programs, but there's so many different programs that hire felons, that hire people of color, that hire women. There's so many different programs that will do it. Types of stuff, and also, the reason why I want to say this specifically is most of the major corporations, Walmart, Amazon, and the like to create a situation where they make the government pay for their employees. This is why a lot of Walmart workers are on food stamps and stuff like that, is because they create this space for that. So make sure that you take advantage of these programs, because don't let Walmart be the one taking advantage of all these work programs.
Facts.
So yeah.
Yeah, we're going to skip that.
Yeah, we're going to skip that.
Nobody care about parking. All right. So employee and freelancer costs. So we could talk more about other things that, feed into payroll and recruitment and all that type of stuff. But what I do want to say is that there are resources through companies like ADP, where I have a partnership with ADP. So that's why I specifically say ADP. But there are other options where you can sign up and they'll set up your payroll structure, whether you or your employees are 1099 or you know, whatever your structure is that you have your employees working, but there are companies that, you know, have pretty good rates on setting up your payroll costs. So that's another thing to think about when you're setting up the structure of your business, your banking, how you're moving your funds around and all that type of stuff. Because once you get to a certain level and you're making a certain amount of money, you want to make sure that you're paying yourself, but you want it to be apparent how you're paying yourself. So yeah, think about that. Marketing growth expenses. So getting your name out there. Website development is usually somewhere between $500 and $10,000. I have never paid that much money to build a website. But there are a lot of resources. I feel like for a lot of these things, there are a lot of resources to cut costs. Social media marketing, $1,000 to $3,000 for initial campaigns. Networking memberships. So Chamber of Commerce, we've talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks. Industry groups, memberships, these little secret societies and stuff. I have a friend who's a part of a program for women. I don't remember. It starts with a G, Gramere or something like that, where it's a network of women that the company will loan you money. You have to pitch for it, obviously, but they will give you a loan, no documents needed, none of that type of stuff. You just have to be a part of this organization. They'll loan you the money, you make the payments on time to pay it back. They then can give you another loan if that's what you're looking for. That'll be higher, and different things like that. So just looking for those, you know, those memberships and those different opportunities to work with your community, whatever community that is.
That's a fact.
Yeah, business cards and print materials, $200 to $500. Never spent that on business cards. I mean, you can, but I haven't. Flyers, maybe business cards and flyers.
I mean, it's a banner. Print material.
Yeah, a banner.
So, to be fair, if we have spent more than $500 on print material.
Yeah,
in
for
total.
Sure. for sure. And then for agencies, so influencer marketing overhead can take a you know, pretty hefty portion of your budget, about 20 to 40%. But you can also do what we were talking about when we were having the holiday shows and use user generated content, and that's already customers that have purchased your items or your product or has, you know, engage with your company in some way or another, and utilize the content that they organically create in order to create marketing for your business instead of paying 20 to 40% of your budget to an influencer marketing company.
That's a fact.
Yep.
All right. So now this last part, real quick. Let's get into how we're going to fund all of this, all right? We already talked about some of the business credit cards, right? We talked about all that stuff, so I don't even got to talk about that stuff. But one of the things I always tell people is there's a lot of money on the table that is there that are specifically put for small businesses and startups in the forms of grants. And people don't understand a lot about these things. We'll probably do another show about grant writing, and we'll bring on an expert about it. But we've done shows before that you can look up. And really just go out there. There's literally money that you can apply for. There's a whole bunch of money that you can apply for. And a lot of people are so afraid. They're like, I don't know how to write a grant. Bro, it's literally just telling your story. It's the same way you wrote. Like, think of a grant as like a grown-up scholarship where you're like, hey, this is my story. This is why I think I should get this money for school. Right. But instead of just school, it's for your business. So do it. There's a bunch of grants, the Freedom Fellowship, the Verizon Small Business, Digital Ready, Comcast Rise, New York City and New York State programs. There's Black Women Business. There's literally, if you wanted, you could just search grants on Instagram and follow every creator that puts out videos on grants. And every day somebody be like, hey, please apply to these grants before November ends. Please apply to these grants before the end of this week. These grants are coming up. I literally followed so many, and I had to unfollow them because I realized I wasn't applying for no grants, and they were telling me every day. I was like, all right.
No, for real. I need to get back on it. You can definitely follow us on Instagram, The Make It Mogul Show, because every time VJ would send it to the inbox, I would just share it onto the story.
Yeah. So check the story because I'll be sending them.
Yeah, I'll be like, it's a lot. It's a lot of them. He sends about 5 different ways that people can either fund their business or certain ways around things and resources that you can use. At least 5 of them a day to that.
You don't understand my
page.
algorithm.
So I'm gonna
my algorithm is just like, hey, more business stuff. Hey, more. I see you like business stuff. Do you want the business stuff? Oh, you click finance. Oh, you want to repair credit. I'm like, okay, damn, bro. All right.
Calm down.
I'm only on Instagram for 30 minutes, bro. How much you think I'm gonna do? Like, all right. So now we talked about that. Now, other money, if it's not grants, you can get small business association loans, SBA loans, 7A loans, micro loans, SBA Express loans, TD Bank loans, other bank loans. There's so many different rates. 7A loans and micro loans usually get longer interest rates. Lower interest rates and longer terms. Micro loans usually help for like the immediate stuff, but you got to qualify for these things.
27% go to startups though, because it's less than it's up to $50,000.
Yeah,
so on average, you can get a micro loan around $16,000.
For a lot of the stuff, you have to have a business plan and or some kind of financials to prove it.
Yes.
So don't just think you're showing up for nothing. There are a bunch of no-docs loans that I will post on the story. I'm not going to do a whole thing about it. But if you pay attention, we'll post them on the story. Because we'll do an actual show where an actual expert will go over and then we'll list stuff. But until then, I don't want to hold stuff for you. So we'll post them on the story. Check them out. Yeah. And the last thing is the common mistakes to avoid. All right. Budget killers. All right. The first thing is understanding
your marketing.
Underestimating your marketing and understanding your marketing.
Yes.
If you're not doing your research and understanding the trends, you can spend a lot of money chasing dreams, okay?
Yeah, on something that's not converting.
Yeah, you might watch something and you're like, oh, that's what's happening on the internet. I need to make 5 videos about that, and it don't work because you weren't the right person to tap into that niche, or that niche was an expiring niche. You caught on the tail end of a hype. You hired 5 trending influencers, and then by the time those influencers made your video, they was not trending no more. It could happen, okay?
It happens.
It can create 20 to 30% of your budget gap, so make sure that you are researching and understanding marketing. If anything, understanding how to connect with your brand, your people is so important, and is driving force of your money maker. So either A, come up with a plan, or B, hire someone, and do not shape on that, because that is going to drive so much in your business.
Yes, for sure. And then also just ignoring legal fees. So again, just knowing what you need before you need it. Think about it like that. Just having somebody kind of in the wings, just in case you need to consult with somebody about, something that has come up, even if it's just looking over contracts. You want to be on top of your shit.
Because trust me, you could somebody could hand you a contract and you're like, oh yeah, that's a $5 million contract. Great. And then you sign it and the deals and the terms, it was worth $10 million of work.
Right.
But you saw $5 million and you got happy.
He was like, yep, I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it. And now you owe them $10 million worth of work for $5 million. So please make sure that you don't ignore those legal fees. I got to pay the government back some legal fees. Don't ignore them. They're going to come chase your ass down. The third, there's no emergency fund. You should have 3 to 6 months operating expenses, especially if you're trying to make it full time. Because, again, you can have a really hot start, and then things get settled down, and then things start picking up, and then a season shifts or something shifts in the industry. If you don't have no savings, bro, you're going to be hurting yourself every day. I've done that before, and then you go full time, and now you're sitting there every single day stressed as to how the fuck this money coming in. Don't do it to yourself.
Yeah, that's a fact. Using personal credit cards. So obviously, VJ's biggest thing, creating tax nightmares, liability issues. Yeah, that's a fact. So don't even bother to do it. Like, rely on the pieces that you put in place.
Right way,
bro. Yeah, like, you put it into place already because we already spoke about it.
I was saying you're not a regular person. You're a mogul in the making. So you know that what we telling you is serious and you taking it seriously. So I ain't even gotta stress because you here for a reason.
Right.
All right, and now we're gonna talk about overpaying for unused space. Evaluate actual needs versus aspirational offers. That's something really big, because some people want to be perfect, and then they go get a 10,000 square foot ballroom, and you only needed 3,000 square feet, and now you got all this extra space. Yes, you can be idealistic, but also you got to be realistic and scale up. Understand you can always go bigger. Okay, it's a good problem to have when you need to go bigger. Okay, it's not a good problem to have when you have too much, and now you owe, and now you have to keep up with something. Again, the reason why the '08 housing market crash happened was because people was biting off more than they could chew with subprime loans. Keep that as a lesson. Don't bite off more than you could chew, because when that bill come, it'll fuck up everything.
That's a fact. And then energy waste. So just waste in general. Buying stuff that you don't need. Having stuff that you don't need.
It's called a burn rate. Which is the cost of, let's say you buy inventory and it's sitting there. For every day that it doesn't sell,
VJ hates holding inventory.
It loses value. And I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Watching, and then the cost of storing it, the cost of keeping it, the cost of maintaining it.
Yeah.
Bro. Just don't. Save yourself the time. Energy waste. Now you got a machine on for 24 hours because you ain't calculated. Now you look. Here's a perfect example. One time I had to do bathing suits and body suits, and then we did it all wrong the first time because I just wanted to pay somebody to do it. And it was like, yeah, let's do it ourselves. And then nobody calculated the cost of learning how to do it, of the vinyl that we wasted trying to figure out how to print it. And the outfits that I wasted trying to not fuck it up.
Yeah. See, we not doing that. Even with having a space, I've experienced that so many times where, like, just from poor planning, and I'll look at the camera and somebody has left the light on overnight, or the AC on overnight, or the TV and the speaker on overnight. And so now nobody was planning on being there for 2-3 days. I'm out of town and I got to find somebody to make it over there so I can unlock the door so they can turn off the light.
Turn off the light.
Like, I pay electric.
I
constantly curse people out for my electric bill. But yeah, so please don't waste your money. Those will kill your budget very quickly.
Real quick, New York City specific warnings. One, don't underestimate the publication requirements. Look into it for your county, please do, because again, out of compliance is a cost. Don't waste it. Second, factor in biennial statement fees, $9 every 2 years, and high cost of living affects employee salary requirements. Again, we live in New York; it's expensive to start. Please make sure that you factor in not only your cost of living, but the people that you want to work with cost of living, okay?
Yes. So, with that being said, we are definitely at the end of our show, but I want you to think about, what is your biggest startup cost concern? Drop it in the comments so that we can help you through that. We can help figure out whatever it is that you need figured out.
And if enough people comment it, we'll do a whole show segment about it. So
yeah,
we can address those concerns, because as we are here to win. And either you win with us
or you watch us win. So tell them where they can find you.
All right. So I am Sir Vijano Alexander, a.k.a. King Cosmic. Vijano. Vejano. V_Jano. I'm the only Vijano. The only one.
Only one.
And then I was extra and put a line over the E, a space, and a capital J. If you can't find me, you really ain't looking hard enough. And I'm kind of frankly offended at this point. Because now you just want to waste my time.
I'm offended.
I'm offended.
It's all good.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't piss them off. All right. And it's your girl, Don. That's Don with a Y, not an I. The baddest CEO. Your favorite. Uh-oh. The think my phone died, but it's okay because we are still here. That's not even what. Wait, hold on. Where we at?
Actually,
What happened? Oh, they can't.
They can hear us right now. Hold on.
Yeah, they can.
They can hear us right now. They can't hear us when we switch to that because there's no audio.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Real
anyway,
quick.
so make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, The Making Mogul Show, and make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, all of the things. Put on your notification bell so you know when we are going live every Monday, somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m.
We here one of the times. That's why you gotta put on a notification bell because they can see when we upcoming and you available.
Right. Exactly.
So either you in with us
or you watch us win. We out.
We out, baby.